Okay. What's up? Wow. Wow, do I feel happy to be making this episode today, you sexy bastards. How are you? How are you? I hope everyone is doing good. Let me move this up a little bit here. Hello. How you doing? Oh my God. Wow. My armpits smell like fucking Shrek Swamp. Holy shit. All right, we're here. We're queer. We're looking taints. All right. You sexy bastards, how you doing? How are you, sexy bastards? We are here. We're recording audio. We're recording video. How you doing, God? This episode is going to be short, maybe. I don't know. However, everything I say in this podcast is very important to me. I feel like this podcast, what is it, episode 32? I believe 30. I don't know. This is like this is a new chapter. Okay, I feel like this could kind of close maybe all the episodes before this is like season 1 or something. I don't know. And then after this, it's a new chapter. You saw the title. You saw the title of the video. Hopefully, you saw it and you were like, "What the fuck?" People, did you ever think I would be making this video? No. This is a very personal video, so right away, any family, any personal friends or whatever that watches this and is kind of like, what the fuck? It's my life. It's my life. It's now. You knew I'm not a fucking accountant. I'm not a lawyer. My life's fucking nuts. So, everything I say here shouldn't come surprise to some of you, but maybe. You sexy bastards. When I say... little voice crack there. I'm going to puberty now. When I say I got sober, when I say, and I gotta fucking lower this here, I still feel like this isn't fucking like Pickle Rick. You like Pickle Rick? You like that? All right, let me okay. So when I say I'm sober, and everything I'm saying here, I've already mentioned. I already went through this on the Tidy Whitey's podcast, the last Tidy Whitey's podcast with Tim and Rabbit. I already kind of introduced this problem that I had, and I talked about it. So if you watched that and now you're here, I'm gonna be talking about it more in depthly. So Turbo was big in the marijuanas. Turbo was a big fan of the marijuanas. Okay, let's just face it. Okay, I was a big fan of the marijuanas. That's over. That's done. I'm 22. Will something happen in my life to where maybe I feel like I can smoke again? I don't know, maybe. But right now I am sober from everything. I am sober from marijuanas. I was, me. I was never a big fucking drinker. Alcohol and Turbo does not mix. Like I always said, if I took a shot, I'm licking the concrete. I can't do it. I don't get drunk. I get sick. So I recently found out that I have a problem. I recently I connected the dots that I am easily an addict. I can easily go down the darker path and the dark road of rock bottoms and addiction that I don't even want to dip my toe in, okay? However, that's what I feel like I've been doing for the last 3-4 years. I've been dipping my toe in that lava pit of what addiction is. I've been dipping my toe and I've been getting a taste. And like I said in the past, I made a huge podcast, I made its own episode, I believe, back in May. When I told you I was dealing with someone in my family going through an addiction, and I was personally there and being their own, I had to be a doctor, I had to be a therapist, I had to kind of go into that role in order for one of my close family members to stay alive. So I did that. And that opened my eyes to know that I have the addiction gene in my family. When you go to the doctors and you get the question, do you have any any history of addiction in your family? And they go, no, because, you want to keep smoking weed or whatever the fuck, and you want to keep doing what you do, which is, everyone is their own person. I'll be getting to that in a second. But I had to really open my eyes to be like, yes, like I do have addiction in my family. I've seen it firsthand. Like I say, currently there are people in my family still dealing with substance abuse or whatever. But, I was in a very weird spot because what I do, which is comedy and writing, creating In my world, weed's nothing. Weed is a tool. Marijuana is a tool, for a lot of comics and shit, and for anybody, just to get out of bed in the morning and stuff. And that's how it did start, So my main thing is I got sober from smoking weed. I was a big weed smoker, and I apologize if I get a lot of texts right now. I'm currently dealing with the fucking dentist and shit. I gotta get my wisdom teeth out, and they're calling about insurance. Let me tell you something. I'm gonna throw you 100, get the fucking knife, rip the teeth out. They gotta get ripped out, and that's it. Okay, that's my dentist. I want you to take a knife, cut, whatever. So I stopped smoking. I stopped smoking weed because I was, let's just face it, a degenerate fucking pothead. Let's just put it that way, okay? In the beginning, so like I said on Tidy Whities, like I'm gonna be explaining more. I first started smoking when I was 18, okay? I first started smoking when I was 18, technically late to the party when people smoke weed, usually when they first get into high school. A lot of my friends started smoking in junior high school and shit, and I was always the nervous kid. I was always the one with all the anxiety and all the, just I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that. So I remember it was, going into my senior year of high school is when I first started to dabble in weed, and I would only smoke when I was around friends that had weed, and I would only smoke if I was out because I was never the kid to know any fucking dealers or, fucking, at that time, dealers. Now there's dispensaries. But I was never that kid. So then it got to the point when I was 19, I found out because I have bulging disc in my back. Everybody who knows me makes a joke. I'm a 22-year-old walking in a 6-year-old body. There's always something going wrong with me. Probably because my lack of fucking exercise and smoking weed. I would, I would find out that, wow, like this really does help my back. This really does, help my anxiety. I don't have all those fucking crazy, panic attacks if I'm talking about having to, like, for example, like having in the past, like having to go to the dentist because of all, that could be its own podcast, trauma at the dentist growing up. I would have anxiety. I'd get sweat. And I remember, if I just smoked a little bit, problems like that, I would feel fine. And it didn't help that when I first started smoking, I was watching podcasts like Joe Rogan and Joey Diaz and all these comics that are really promoting the legalization of weed. And that in my immature mind was getting implanted that there's nothing wrong with this substance. It's not a drug. Weed isn't, what it is. And I want to read a comment actually that I got from the Tidy Whities podcast that kind of fits in to what I'm saying. Like, I really didn't categorize weed as a drug. And a lot of people don't. And I'm saying this right now so I get this out there. If you are someone that is smoking, if you are a stoner or whatever, continue it. If you are a person that can maturely and, responsibly smoke weed and you don't have those physical, feelings of withdrawals when you're not smoking, because let's just face it, people are different. Fucking look at Snoop Dogg. Look at all the people that can smoke joint after joint after joint. And even if they don't, they're normal. I mean, listen, people can. Please do. I'm not saying, this isn't like a PSA from like, I am against marijuana. I still aren't. I swear to God, I'm not. I remember my grandma, when she was passing away, and she was kind of losing her spark in life, and she was, going through a lot of pain. First thing I even asked her, and even to her, to ask her doctor if she can get some topicals of THC or whatever, because I'm a huge believer in the medical purposes for marijuana. But a person that comes from a family of addiction, both sides of the family coming from addiction, has that genetic biology to be an addict, and I just can't. I can't. So what I wanted to mainly just talk about is my story and how I found out, because what I've been learning from this past Tidy Whities podcast, a lot of people, when I say a lot, a handful in the comments actually are going through and kind of understand what I'm going through. A comment that I just saw that happened from the name Obama Hamburger. Obama Hamburger said, "Glad to hear about all this quitting weed talk from Turbo. It's something I generally struggle with too. And the worst of it is that no one considers it a real addiction. Granted, it's different from alcohol or opioids, but it is a very real addiction. Personally, I've been trying to get off it with occasional smoke sessions to relax every few months, but I'm much happier than I was just constantly stoned on multiple grams of potent flower and a few dabs every day, carts sometimes too," meaning the vape carts. It's hard to get over the hill initially, but you'll have more control, especially with comedy. If you don't smoke, best of luck, mate. We're all gonna make it through. And one reason why I was scared, thank you for that comment there, Verily, thank you. That goes to show you that, yeah, like this weed really can be a drug that, you use to, numb and just not feel nothing and not try to go through life with feelings like you could use alcohol and opiates. The addiction that one of my family members was going through was with opioids. So when that was going on, I would go home, go in my room, and smoke like fucking 2 grams in a minute just to numb everything I was feeling from me dealing with that addiction, with that person that was going through addiction. And then a little part of me was like, I'm doing the same thing that person's doing, but with weed. But the reason why it's different and doesn't get looked down upon is because weed now is being legalized for good reasons, but it's being legalized. It's not looked upon now as a bad drug, and I still say it's not, but it doesn't have that, black cloud over it anymore, which is good. But with a downfall, that is a lot of young kids like me that just started smoking in the beginning, or like kind of like the golden age of the legalization of weed, and the golden age of people just talking about the positives, and I had to realize what the negatives were on my own. So I would smoke. My story pretty much is, and how I found out I had to stop was, 1, the addiction in the family. I had to really come to terms with that. 2, I always said, well, I'm not going to go to those drugs, which I've never done in my life. I've never even smoked a cigarette in my life, never done the hard, the cocaine, never done anything in those terms, never took a pill, never did anything besides Advils, okay? Never. Ever did, because I was scared and nervous based on the shit I've seen firsthand from my family. So I just used weed. In my eyes, I used weed the same way I could have easily done any other drug, which I was using it just to feel normal at this time. Like, for the past 2 years, I was smoking just to feel normal. And what I do, which is podcast, and which is, just going on stage, doing comedy, writing, if I smoked, I couldn't even sit down to write no more, because all the fucking, because that, when I used to smoke now, I would get more anxiety and I would get more depressed if I wasn't smoking, and all, there was a huge chemical imbalance going on in my fucking head for the past 2 years, and trying to be at equilibrium, without smoking was impossible. I would, if I didn't smoke, I was irritable. I was sweating all the time. I wasn't able to eat. There was no appetite. My stomach got fucked up. So I had to make the big boy decision to see the writing on the wall and see everything that I was doing, to stop. So it got to the point where, with the stress of this, with the stress of trying to get my career off the ground, with the stress of, dealing with another podcast, Tidy Whities, which in my opinion, it doesn't bring it, and overall, it didn't bring me stress. I was putting more stress on myself for no reason about it, because I guess whatever the fuck was going on in my head. And also, it got to the point where weed wasn't enough. And that was a big sign for me to see, like, this is when people say it leads to other drugs. This is the feeling when people say, Pete Davidson in the movie, The King of Staten Island, when he goes, I don't even feel like we're getting high anymore. So when I saw that happen, I started to abuse over-the-counter drugs. I started to abuse, the people can get, anyone can get. I started to abuse NyQuil. I started to abuse Benadryl. When I had COVID last Christmas, I remember my COVID, the worst thing was I started breaking out in hives. And Benadryl helps with rashes and hives and stuff. And when I would take 2 Benadryl or whatever, and you would feel that fucking floating sensation, I was like, damn, what does this feel like if I smoked weed with it? And then I would smoke a ton of weed with it during COVID. Smart. I would smoke a ton of weed with it, take 2-3 Benadryl, and I was like, oh shit, nice. Then, as you guys know, recently I had tonsillitis. I had a flare up of tonsillitis in September, 3 times in 1 month. Okay, and by the way, the ENT doesn't want to take him out. He says just ride the course. Maybe he had a bad month. Okay, so anyway, When I had that, I really was uncomfortable at night, swallowing with tonsillitis. So, when you swallow jizz with tonsillitis, it's not comfortable. So, going to sleep at night, I remember I was like, I need something. I need NyQuil. Like, I need to go to sleep. And I remember just at that point being at a low of lows. I said, fuck it. I don't give a shit. So I would wake up. I would take 2 shots of NyQuil in the day. I would wait. This is my breakfast. I would wake up. I would take shots of NyQuil. Fucking rip a ton of fucking weed. And at the past year, I haven't used Benadryl because Benadryl made me constipated and fucked up my stomach more, so I stopped that last year. But it was at the point where I was using Benadryl, NyQuil, and weed. And if it was another combination, like Benadryl or weed, cocaine, and alcohol, people would want to institute me, but put me in a rehab, And I opened my eyes to be like, if I'm abusing these over-the-counter drugs, because what it would make me feel is, right, like I would be a zombie the whole day. I would be a zombie the whole fucking day. I would just walk around like fucking, just like nothing's happening with me, nothing's going on. The world's flying by, the hours are going by and by and by. Oh, I have a podcast to record later? It's all right, that's okay. Oh, I have that to do later now? It's all right, that's okay. That's how you become a degenerate scumbag that does nothing with his life and has all his dreams fly by him, and you die with regret. That's how it starts. So in a way, I didn't want this. Of course, no one wants to make a podcast like this. But I know, and thankfully, seeing those comments in Tidy Whities, hopefully this could help other people that unfortunately are going through even worse addictions or worse substance abuse. And I had some notes because let's talk about now the withdrawal process. So today, when you're watching this Wednesday, it is fully 14 days, 2 weeks, no smoking marijuana. And that's what they usually say for the detox period, 14 days for your body to leave the system, whatever. 30 days is what majority rehabs do, 30 days. So I'm really looking forward to 30 days. And another reason why I was scared to talk about this is because I don't want, like I said in the Tidy Whities, I don't want to be talking like this, like, oh, I'm a heroin addict and I'm sober, sympathy. I understand, thankfully, my addiction and thankfully my substance abuse wasn't with the hard drugs and it wasn't that extreme. So I'm not looking for you guys to be like, oh my God, like you almost died. Like thankfully I didn't get to that point. But like Obama, whatever Obama said on the last comment. What was his name? I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting. But these fucking crazy names, well, how can I fucking remember? Just like Obama Hamburger said in the comment section, people don't take this as a real problem, and it was for me. So I watched Dr. Drew on Your Mom's House podcast. Your Mom's House podcast host Dr. Drew After Dark. He's so fucking funny. I love Dr. Drew. He had a show called Celebrity Rehab when he helped detox Dennis Rodman and all these celebrities back in the day. And I always thought the reason how I had this addiction was because I have an addictive personality. Like when I got into this, I knew this is what I wanted to do my whole life, like entertain people, just comedy, whatever. So I'm all in. I can't be half-assed. I have to be all in anything I do. Fucking make jokes now, folks. Sports gambling, I can't just, gamble or whatever. I got to research the teams. I got to make sure how's the players do. I get anything, any hobby, anything, baseball growing up, basketball growing up. I had to be all in it, 100% into it, or I'm not into it at all. That's how I am. So when I realized, weed and stuff in the stoner community, whatever, I was like, oh, it's the same thing. I love weed. I'm going to really get into weed. I'm going to get everything. I'm going to get the bowls, the bongs, the edibles, but that's how I was. But then talking to more doctors and therapists and stuff like that, and watching Dr. Drew's video and live stream when he was talking about marijuana addiction, he mentioned there's no such thing as an addictive personality when it comes to addiction. All personalities can get addicted. there's addictive genetics that set up an addictive biology in your neurochemistry. For the other fucking retards out there like me, that pretty much means like it's all based on your genetic backup from your family. Does your family have any history of addiction? And then boom. So you can go, so people can, like for example, I don't want to out this person, but like a sibling of mine doesn't have, to our knowledge, hopefully, knock on wood, no addiction, because you have to trigger it. You have to trigger that genetic biology. I triggered it by smoking a fuck ton of weed. So I was just mature enough and thankfully smart enough to not go down the hard shit, the bad stuff. So yeah. After seeing that, I was watching that, and that really helped me really assure myself that, I have to be sober. In a way, I don't want to call myself it because I have a lot more respect for people that actually really are, sober. I don't want to say like, yes, I'm sober because I was an addict. In a way, I am, but I don't want to, whatever. But I'm just very, I don't know how people may take this, but so that really helped me from what he said and stuff. Then that really reassured me that I can't be a every once in a while smoker and every once in a while this and that. I can't. And if I'm sick or whatever, I'm going to continue to take NyQuil or whatever. If I'm sick or whatever, I'm going to take Benadryl. But now I got more people's eyes on me. I got more people to watch over me. And because I do have that tendency to not want to take it for the effect, to take it for the feeling. So the withdrawal process, like I said, 2 weeks ago, 2 Wednesdays ago was the first day. And when I mean people, the physical withdrawals I had, and I'm not sure if it was because I was mixing NyQuil, which has 10% alcohol in it. So I'm not sure if my body got to the point where it was detoxing from a little bit of alcohol and weed at that time. Because when I would stop smoking weed, because I've had in the past, I was able to stop in the past, but like I said, I always went back to it. When I went to Vegas for the fucking gaming event in Vegas, I stopped, okay, a month before, because I knew I wasn't sharp when I was smoking. I knew I wasn't myself when I was smoking. So that should have been a fucking sign right there. Hey, gotta stop. So I stopped. I was able to stop. I was jogging every day to kind of get the THC out of my body and shit. And I was able to stop like that. I was able to really stop smoking. And the only withdrawals I had was, the appetite. Yeah, I was, cold sweats. I was sweating a lot. But I was really okay and I was able to function. This time, I'm not sure if it because it was my body like, Turbo, this time you really overdid it, and now you're gonna fucking feel the effects. Because withdrawals, what they really are is, withdrawals is fucking feelings and thoughts in your body to make you know, hey, don't go through this again. All these things you're feeling, you're not gonna want to go through this again, so now you're quitting. That's what withdrawals are. And I was sweating up a fucking storm. I couldn't really sleep for the first couple of days because when I would try, first of all, the house was at 80. My mom was fucking cursing me out because I had the house on 80 degrees the whole fucking time. While it was on 80 degrees, I had a fucking hoodie on. I was dripping with sweat for the first 3-4 days. I couldn't lay down because the nausea. I had to go to City MD, like a fucking little doctor's, like a public doctor's office. I had to go to City MD near my house because I had to get medicine for the nausea. I knew I had to do something. They ended up giving me medicine, Zofran, that they give to cancer patients when they're nausea from the chemotherapy. That's how bad my nausea was. Every morning, not anymore, thank God, every morning up until the point where I want to say maybe 3-4 days ago, I was waking up every day like a pregnant woman. The morning sickness, the dry heaving, and the stomach issues is something I got, which is called CHS, cannabinoid hyperemesis syndrome, or cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, which is a stomach condition you get from smoking a lot of weed. And that's what I got. And I was dry heaving every fucking morning. I was dripping with sweat. My mom she was doing everything she tried for me. I was only able to eat this right here. I was only able to eat fucking Ritz crackers, okay? Ritz crackers, Progresso soup, and that's it. And I had no appetite for nothing, and I was nauseous like a mother. And I ended up actually the day before Halloween, the 30th. I remember I went to the hospital with my father because I got so weak and just so fucking just felt sick that I wanted to get an IV. I wanted to get a fucking IV thing, and I ended up leaving because I can't deal with hospitals, and it was like a fucking 2-hour wait. I said fuck you. So yeah, that's what I was going through. Right now, thank fucking God. Right now, I'm constipated. I mean, I don't know what the fuck's going on. I had Taco Bell because now I got my cravings back. When I got my cravings back, the first thing I got was Taco Bell. Then I got McDonald's. Then I got Wendy's. Then I got McDonald's. And then today and yesterday, I had Chinese food. So the fact that I'm constipated shouldn't be, but I should have diarrhea, but that's how it started. I had diarrhea, I guess, because it was my body was trying to fucking shit and piss out anything, all the toxins or whatever. And now I guess my stomach's just trying to get back to normal. And yesterday I shit a fucking Ivy. I shit a fucking rock. I was so constant. I felt like I shit out a fucking softball came out of my ass. Note that. Write that down. So hopefully, thankfully, right now, all the physical withdrawals is gone. I'm still, cold sweats here and there, hot flashes here and there. But I swear to God, 99% better. 99% better. Now it's just the mental stuff. If anybody's out there, my stoners out there that know, even if you're not smoking for a little bit or whatever, you're smoking is starting to wear off, anybody who looks at you the wrong way or maybe steps on your foot, you want to fucking beat the shit out of them. Your fucking temper. You have such a short temper, and you will. I mean, God bless my mother, because I said, Ma, I love you to death, but God forbid you put carrots in the soup instead of fucking celery, I will throw this toast at your face. I mean, I don't want to push you out the window, Ma, for saying good morning, but I may. Good morning, my God, get the fuck out. So now it's just the mental stuff, but I gotta thank, whoever's up there. Thank you, Allah. Thank you, Buddha. Thank you, JC. What are you gonna do? I knew I had to make a change. I knew I had to, make a change. I knew I had to do this because I just have to be sober. I can't allow anything. I can't allow a substance to control my life. I just can't. And yeah, I wrote down here. Okay, I literally wrote this down the first day I kind of felt better. I wrote down all the things I wanted to address here. Another thing is, I apologize. And this is the main thing that really is my fault in terms of content and stuff. The reason why you really haven't seen a lot of crazy podcasts and like skits or whatever, and the reason why the second comedy album is not done yet is because of my just being a lazy pothead. I was a lazy piece of shit. I got the stuff you did see done, the podcast episodes I did get done. Don't get me wrong. A lot of the days it was like pulling teeth to get me to do them. I would have much rather just sit in my fucking chair, smoke a ton of weed, and watch Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I mean, that's how I did get. And I swear to God, I could have been that person that said, you know what? This is my life. I enjoy weed. I want to do it. And I could have got a fucking job for the rest of my life, 9 to 5, that allows me to afford weed the rest of my life, lets me to sports gamble, and I would have just said, yeah, and I'll do comedy on the side. But I know that's me giving up on my dreams. I knew that. I know that would be me giving up on my goals and aspirations. And from the family I come from, I have a lot of pressure on me to really help out my family. I have a lot of pressure on me to really make it in this world of whatever the fuck this is, entertainment, comedy, whatever the fuck. I just have a lot of pressure on me. And, first and foremost, I still love what I do. I still wake up every day because I want to do this, and create stuff. But I had a fucking monkey on my shoulder. I had like the devil on my shoulder. I couldn't just fucking shoo off. And now I did. And and that's why I say I'm nervous and I'm scared. I don't want to every day come up here. I'm 1 month sober. I'm 2 months sober, because that takes away people that are really, really, really sober and have a harder time staying sober from the harder drugs. And I don't want to take away from those people, but in a way, I am sober from weed. I'm not smoking. So instead of saying sober from now on, maybe I'll just say I haven't smoked. Okay, you see, I can never have a fucking pod without something going wrong. How about this, Cannon? Go fuck yourself. But yeah, I don't want to basically, let me do a fucking clap because I'm gonna have to sync. Gotta sync the fucking audio. I hate editing. I hate fucking editing. I swear to God. If anybody wants to edit for me for $1, please do. But yeah, from now on, I'm probably just gonna say I'm not smoking I haven't smoked in a month, haven't smoked in 2 months, because I don't want to take away from anybody's actual sobriety or whatever. But, yeah, I apologize, like I said, for the lack of content. I can only imagine, the more energy and the more drive I will be having, days on, continuing with me detoxing from the fucking THC. But yeah, I'm just thankful that, we see it happening, a lot with, creators on YouTube and stuff. Like people in my situation that kind of left, gaming or whatever and left, my original, content on YouTube. I transitioned to, just being a comic and being me, being an actual real person, not a fake fucking YouTuber hiding behind something, okay? I know a lot of people, unsubscribed. I know a lot of people aren't watching anymore. And to be honest with you, the people that are the only sexy bastards I care about, because I know you're coming from me and the stuff that I do and the stuff that I actually work on that involves talent. Not just somebody clicking on a video because they want to see a trailer or something. This is what I just thank you. This is what I want to do. I just thank each and one of you sexy bastards for sticking along the journey with me. The second comedy album is still in the works. Me, if you know Vinny Boom Bots from my old podcast, I don't want to make any promises, but maybe something in the future will be coming with me and him. Tim Hansen and Crazy Rabbit, I can only thank them because they've really been like my buddies. They've been in my corner for the longest time. And I love them both. Tim Hansen, Crazy Rabbit, and Vinny Boom Bots. I consider them brothers. So I love you all. From here on out, literally from here on out, I'm not perfect still. So, of course, things may happen. But I will be more responsible. I will be more on my A game now. And that's not if, that's a fact. Literally, because now what was... Like there was a screen. I need to go back to fucking speech therapy. There was a screen in front of us. I felt like that was the separating us from what from me really interacting with you guys and me really creating the stuff for you sexy bastards. So now I feel like that screen is fucking cracked open. I feel like now we're one with each other. I can smell you. So thank you guys so much for sticking around. Every single Wednesday, another episode of Professional Child is coming out. I am bringing this podcast on the road to multiple locations, on-scene locations, interviewing family members, friends. This podcast, like I said, is my own personal diary for my life and my future, kids, whatever the fuck to come to watch. So I love you so much, guys. Ivy's still here. Ivy's been with me. Ivy's made me feel good. Don't forget she's a uterus, so I try to fuck it. I'm this Ivy. I'm not gonna go into the things we did because you made me feel better when I was withdrawing. You rubbed my taint with the lotion, right? You rubbed the taint. You went clockwise with the lotion. Love you guys. I'll see you next Wednesday with a brand new episode of Professional Child. I would drop the mic, but I'm broke.